Greetings, everyone. Well, I have a little bit of a different video here for you today. I'm not going to be showing you my things, but I'm going to be showing you someone else's things. One of the things that I do for income is I'm a piano tuner and learning to be a piano technician. And a few years ago, I was at this gentleman's house to tune his pianos, and I noticed something in his cabinet. He had some lightsabers and other sci-fi items as well. And I've come back to tune his pianos again, and I thought that I would share with you, with his permission, some of the things that he's got. So let's take a look here. We've got... I can't flip during video. So let's just show a few things here. Let's start with the lightsabers here. So he's got some really neat ones, and I'll have him explain some of these. Let's look at this Graflex here first. Try to come to the light here. So, this Graflex here is not made by a Sabre house. This is an actual, starts as an actual Graflex. And let me introduce you to the owner of these. His name is Carter.
Yep.
And why don't you explain a little bit about some of these items here that we've got?
It's nothing special. People have done this before, but it's just the old camera flash unit with the plastic strips and the bubble, and that's about all they did in the movie. Nothing special, just something I happened to find at a yard sale that started all this.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. And then we have here, this actually is from Roman Props, you said, correct?
That's right.
That's right, Roman Props. So this is Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber from A New Hope and from Revenge of the Sith as well. This one is quite a bit heavier than the other one. Now, you can see here it has for blade insertion, so you can do that as well. Grenade section, the bubble strip, which is characteristic of the A New Hope. The pommel, the cubed pommel, similar to Luke Skywalker's in Return of the Jedi, that he would model his lightsaber after. Next, we have Darth Vader's lightsaber from A New Hope. This is a New Hope configuration, as it has the bubble strip and the T-grip section. One of the things that makes it different from in different configurations is that in Empire Strikes Back, the T-grips come all the way up towards the hilt. Now, you may notice there's no wiring on some of these, but this was also not made by a sabersmith. This was also kind of pieced together.
Pieced together, some original parts, some reproduction parts.
Mm-hmm.
But mechanically, it is still a camera flash unit.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is. So there's nothing inside, no electronics installed. Is that something that you would plan to do for this one, or
yeah,
just for the
I've got parts to make all of them like you have with the blade.
Mm-hmm. That'd be great. I'd love to see that when that's done there. Now those are the lightsaber options. Now also we have here Han Solo's DL-44 heavy blaster pistol, and this thing is heavy. This thing is heavy. Now why don't you tell us a little bit about this guy here?
This is a master replicas I picked up, so it's just the same as you've probably seen. But I found a World War I German scope for the Mauser pistol. It's not the same one as in the movie, but it looks appropriate. Mm-hmm. And the optics are correct. I don't know if you could show that. But
yeah, you can see through that.
It's just another thing. Pick up, piece around.
Mm-hmm. Now this is more closer to A New Hope also as well, because in Empire Strikes Back this flash muzzle was more silver, and this one is more of a blacker one, so this is more towards A New Hope. But yeah, master replicas has some working action there, which is neat, like an old gun would. You never see Han doing that actually for his thing. And then it's really interesting, if you remember in Solo, you saw how this was actually part of a larger blaster that that was taken apart and tossed to Han Solo.
Actually, in A New Hope, it was a functioning pistol. It is a broom-handled Mauser, and there are reports I've heard that Han Solo was outside shooting cans every once in a while. It was a functioning gun in the movie.
Yeah, if you look at the behind-the-scenes clip, you can see the flashes and stuff like that. Even on the Stormtrooper guns, you can see little flashes coming out the muzzle. So those are some Star Wars items. Now, what's this item here?
That is another detail you've seen on Han Solo's belt from time to time.
Ah.
A remote for the droids or something like that.
Okay.
Again, I do photography, and I just pick things up like that when I see them, and every once in a while you get lucky. That is a smaller flash unit, just like the lightsabers are made of.
And that's the thing with, especially in A New Hope, is they were scavenging for parts. And part of what made the used universe feel so lived in is that they were parts that come from our everyday use. Things that just have a nice technological flair to it. So that's great. Now, these are Han Solo belts then?
Yep, just a piece from here, a piece from there I've picked up. I've gained a little weight. I don't know if they even fit anymore.
And then here we've got holsters. And this is Han's holster then, I assume.
Oh, yeah.
There's a little leg strap that goes around there on whichever leg you do it from. I assume the right leg. And there's that. And then belt buckles for those as well. Some nice leather details here. And the pieces, parts. It's just really neat to see. Where did you pick these up from? You said here and there, but...
I've had these for about 10 years. I couldn't even tell you. Somewhere on the internet. Someone made them. They're two different people that made them. But it's hard to tell, just a little shading difference.
Now, keeping with the Harrison Ford motif, we have here the Cup of a Carpenter. This is the Holy Grail that was used in Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade. Indiana had to go get it. He was coerced into getting it after the Nazis had shot his father. And then in a race against time, he ran off to find the Holy Grail with a new purpose that he had not yet had throughout the films here. It's interesting how the inside of the cup is painted gold, whereas on the outside it has a very simple, common appearance of no one of special worth. And that reflects the character of Jesus Christ, whom the Holy Grail is storied to be a part of the crucifixion, that his outward appearance was of nothing special, but it's the inside that's what matters. The Lord judges on the inward appearance, while man judges on the outside. That's why Donald Glover's character was so deceived into being tricked into that false grail with gold on the outside and jewels. Where'd you pick this up from?
This was a gift from a friend. Someone does ceramics, someone did it, and it's gorgeous. I was lucky to get it as a gift.
So it's a one-of-a-kind piece. It's not bought from any store. This is absolutely unique. It's very good. See, we got a couple more items here, not from Star Wars. Why don't we explain what these are here?
This is the belt buckle used in the Rocketeer. This may be a reproduction, or it may be an actual German one. It looks too nice. But when he puts the rocket belt on, you have that very distinctive click. And that's just wonderful.
I love clicking sounds like that, like even old James Bond gadgets, things like that.
The mechanism is really clever, actually, because in an aircraft, you don't want anything coming off accidentally.
Right.
So to unlatch it, you have to hit both of these, which you're not going to bump, but if you hit them, it just flies apart. It's an interesting piece of engineering they used in the movie. This is in World War II, it was a harness of some kind for parachutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoy that sort of clicking sound sort of stuff, like Foley artistry when they do that for films, and they find all kinds of things. Okay, next.
Another piece of photography, if you're familiar with the film 2001, A Space Odyssey.
All the best stuff is made in Japan.
Yeah. There is the main character is the computer, Hal, and this is what Stanley Kubrick used as the face of Hal.
Ooh.
It's something you can't photograph very well. This is a scientific lens made by Nikon for astronomy or anything else you would need. It sees 180 degrees. But again, photography stuff, every once in a while you find something, and you cannot pass up on having Hal.
Now, do they shoot? You can see just natural light coming through there. I'm assuming that's how they did the effect. Is they just shot a nice bright light through there? Because he has a red eye in the film, doesn't he?
He does have a red eye.
I haven't actually seen the film.
That is a filter for black and white and astronomy photography. You have green, clear, red, yellow.
Here we are.
And red.
There we go. Okay, yeah.
So that is also a very neat, rare piece I happen to find.
Indeed. And then, lastly here, maximum restricted entry, HAL 9000 Logic Memory Center. Access to the LM Center only under emergency conditions in accordance with Regulation EM054. How was this plaque here in really good view of the shot in the film? Like you could see all that?
Everything in that film is detailed, so incredible. But that's something I just found on eBay because I would like to have some kind of a HAL display on the wall someday. So when I see something like that, I pick it up.
Yeah. You really have to appreciate all the detail that does go into sci-fi movies, even just the small things that don't get seen. Whether it's wardrobe, that's just really articulate and ornate, but you can't even tell the difference, or it's text or background, or the kind of stuff that the people who are making it, who are often geeks themselves and they grew up on this stuff, they really put their heart and soul into it to make stuff that's really deep and detailed and steep in the lore, and stuff you just got to appreciate. Well, I want to thank Carter for showing us all this stuff here. What if of all these, if you had a favorite of these pieces, what would you say your favorite is, or top two?
Top two?
Yeah.
I can't quantify it really.
I know it's an unfair question. It's like, which of your children is your favorite, right?
The lightsabers are gorgeous, and the Holy Grail was a nice gift from a friend, so that would probably be the last thing I would ever part with. But it's all just a little collection of stuff I've accumulated. Can't really rank anything.
That's all right. That is a more than fair answer. So I am partial to the Graflex. My next lightsaber that I like to purchase is probably the Ultra Sabres Graflex that they have, simply because it wouldn't be as perhaps fragile as what Vader's Vault uses in their Graflex, which is made from real Graflexes, I believe, and so it would be a little bit more delicate than I would want to use for actual fighting. I know that Saberforge has or will release their Rayflex, which is the repaired Graflex that will be featured in Rise of Skywalker. But for the Ultra Sabers, I'm finding that one because it has all the essence of the Revenge of the Sith, of all the other versions of it. A little bit smoother control box because that one's a little bit more rounded off. And so, to me, I would prefer to have the essence of the lightsaber rather than to have a specific one just for my own, because I may not collect many lightsabers in my own time, so I would like to have ones that I would respond to best for my own enjoyment. So for me, that's probably the one that I gravitate towards as well. So thank you very much for showing all of that, and thank you guys very much for watching, and may the Force be with you.